Welcome to Arts Roll Call, a
Mm.
podcast showcasing artists and arts organizations, highlighting the role of the arts today in Greater Lansing. I'm Robin Miner-Swartz. I'm an editor, communications consultant, and lifelong arts advocate. And today I'm talking with Max and Louis Boyang. They're 16-year-old twins from Okemos, Michigan, and they've been making art since they were 9 years old. With encouragement from their mentor, artist Vivian, also in Okemos, they started entering adult competitions and exhibitions when they were just 10. Over the years, Max and Louis have become prolific artists with unique styles and interests focused on a love of nature. Louis uses watercolor and graphite to produce his floral-focused artwork, and Max illustrates his curiosity of insects with a combination of pen and ink and watercolor art. And together, they've won 9 awards in national and international adult competitions, exhibited their artwork more than 50 times in fine art galleries across the country, and they have 5 solo shows. Oh, and they also attend high school full time and enjoy creative writing and taekwondo. Max and Louis, welcome to Arts Roll Call today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having
And
us.
thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. So thank you.
I'm excited to talk with you both. I'm interested first in hearing about your connection as twin artists. Did you discover your love of art at the same time, or did someone come first?
Well, I think we both really like doing art or like creative processes for a long time. I think generally speaking, I think we started at the same time. Um, Louis, do you?
Yeah, we went to like our art mentors, our studio at the exact same time, and I think at that time we weren't exactly like sure of what we wanted to do or our exact interests. But after we went there, we quickly discovered that we both really enjoyed doing art, and she was very surprised by our skills like at the time, which at the time we actually hadn't done that much art in the first place. But yeah, it was nice. So.
Well, and you both work in the same kind of area that Vivian does too. I know she does a lot of florals and things like that. So, how did you get connected to Vivian?
So I think we first just discovered her. Like I'm not exactly sure. It was definitely quite a long time ago, but I think she was like a art teacher near in our area, so it was just quick to find her. But um, like through her, we were able to explore a lot of the different things we like to do, and I think just like flowers in general, not only just the ones that she did, are just very beautiful subjects. Like it's not necessarily super precise or yeah, but the colors and everything else definitely made me attracted to it.
That's great. Well, I know you're both awardees in the Arts Council's Art in the Sky Billboard program. What was it like to see your art on billboards?
I think at first it was kind of daunting, from going from like not seeing your work on any billboards at all. But like I think the more you have like these kinds of things, you see it. I think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool opportunity. I think it's really fun. Um, I think the more opportunities that we have for doing this, we'll just keep on doing it. So
Yeah, not just that. I feel like okay. So the first opportunity that we got to meet with the Arts Council and the first experience we had with them was through a similar billboard project, except this one was for a children's thing. So I think the first time we did that, it was definitely a different experience. And before that, we didn't necessarily have that much experience with competitions in general. But quickly after that, we actually entered into some adult competitions, which was quite a different experience as well. So.
Well, and that's actually my next question. You've both been competing in the arts for many years and in these adult spaces. What is it like to be competing with people who are significantly older than you in some cases at such a young age?
yeah, I mean, I think at first, like I said, same way the billboard is kind of daunting, right? So like, there's a lot of people, older people that are much more experienced than we were. I think in the beginning we might have had some kind of some hesitancies, but the longer we did it, I think it was more fun. I think we gained more experience, got better at, like, for example, showing our work, getting better at art in general. So I think the more
Yeah.
experience we had with these kinds of competitions, these exhibitions, the more we grew to love them.
Yeah, because I think it was a little bit weird at the beginning. Because I remember the first time Max got his piece into an adult competition, it was the Scarab Club in Detroit, and I remember both for that instance and the one where I got into the Ann Arbor's Art Center where I won a Jurors Award, like about a month after. Uh, it was very interesting when they told us like we had to put our name tags on, like all the artists would put on their name tags, and then everyone was extremely surprised when they saw our age, and I feel like that also kind of was being so young kind of made me feel like my imposter syndrome got a little worse because I
Mm,
feel like for a lot of artists, definitely many people believe that their work isn't as great as others, and you kind of reflect that when you see other people's work. And when we went to those adult competitions, a lot of these people had very incredible work with like a lot of skill, and I feel like I've definitely gotten better at it because we've done it for much longer. But these adult competitions were definitely a great opportunity that I really enjoyed. So
that's great. Your art has been included in so many places, prestigious national and international art magazines. You've been featured on TV and in other media. What does it feel like to have your work so well received in the fine arts world? I mean, I know you don't have anything to compare it to. This is
yeah,
just your lives, but what does that feel like for you?
Well, I think in the beginning, like, it's I think for all of this stuff, the main focus hasn't really been to show our work to do these kinds of exhibitions. I think this kind of came after we started, and then we saw that we had these opportunities, so we kind of like applied for them. So, like leading back to the billboard kind of thing that we had first in 2016 with the Lansing Arts Council. Afterwards, we started going to these adult competitions, started doing these things. I think the more we did them, the more we had them. Um, I don't know. Luz, what do you think?
yeah, I think just like the recognition we got was definitely quite. It was a little bit weird to deal with as kids for sure. But I think that one of the greatest parts that have come out of this is that I feel like because we were kids and because we were doing this, it was definitely a good way to show other children that they could explore their creative sides and embrace this type of like this arts, whether it being like painting, drawing, like we do, or like writing. We also actually enjoy doing writing. But I think definitely with amount of technology we have now and the other sort of things that we've developed in recent times, it's taken away a little bit less of a focus on the arts. And I think that being able to show that with like our art has definitely, I hope it has inspired many kids to help pursue the arts as well.
When it comes to making art, you both have different styles and different media that you like to work in. How are your processes similar? How are they different? Do you work together at all?
Yeah, so I think both our processes obviously we work in different mediums. So Luz works in like more watercolor, like flowers, that kind of thing. I work with more crow quill, pen and ink, more line work. But generally speaking, both of us work like we know only like 25% of what we're gonna do when we start a piece, and then the rest is something that we find when we keep on going. A lot of times when I make a piece, I might not know specifically what I'm going to do, but when at the very end, like I might have something completely different. So like maybe I thought I would make, I don't know, like 5 insects or something. Then I come out with 10 at the end, or maybe not even insects in the first place. I think it's something that we both do, and I think it makes art really interesting and fun for us,
Mhm.
where we can like explore new things just by creating a piece. We don't even know what we're going to do at the end of it.
Yeah, I think the process is definitely the most interesting. Sometimes I feel like the hardest part of actually doing a piece is putting the first line on paper. And a lot of the times, like Max said, I've not necessarily had the exact idea of what I want to do, but I might have a general gist. Like I might want to do the specific flower. Like for instance, when my mom brought home like some chrysanthemums from the farmer's market, that was actually like the first piece I drew in uh, colored pencil. And like there are definitely instances where I will have an exact idea or like a very good idea of what I want to do. Like one of my recent I mean, just graphite pieces that I did, where like some hands were like looming over a figure. I think I had a good idea for that. But Max and I both have very similar processes, and it's allowed us to interact with each other
Yeah,
more
we can work and
in the
collaborate with each other.
process. Yeah.
So I have I don't know if you've ever thought about it in these terms, but let's start with Lewis. Lewis, what about Max's art is something that really wows you that maybe and is a skill you don't have or an approach you don't have? What do you look at his art and see?
Yeah, what's really interesting about Max's art to me is his art is like very meticulous. So a lot of the times he does very interesting lines. He uses much different like medias than I do. Like often he will work with pen and ink, which I've like literally never dabbled with. Maybe a few times, but um, the thing is also Max's focus on insects is something that it's kind of like this focus that both of us have had as kids because we used to go to this nature camp called Nature Discovery, and whenever we'd go there, we'd like pin insects and explore with nature and stuff like that. And I feel like Max's exploration of that, he's also kind of made it abstract and kind of added his own designs. And it's always fascinated me, like how he can have the patience for that type of stuff, like how he can draw the lines like so perfectly. I know I definitely couldn't do that. I don't have the patience, but it's it's something really nice that I always aspire to be like, you know.
And
Yeah.
Max, what about you when you think about Lewis's art?
I have to say the exact opposite. I think that, well, actually the same, to be honest. I feel like Lewis's work is just so much more, so it's like detailed in a different way. Maybe my work is more like line oriented, but I feel like the way that he uses watercolor expresses himself through um like all of this watercolor stuff with all this color. I think it's something that I don't usually work with. For example, with crow quill, it's all black, right? So all I'm doing is kind of like illustration kind of work with all um, monotone colors, while Lewis, his work like really pops out. And it's not only, it doesn't only pop out with his flowers, that kind of stuff. He also incorporates different ways of creative expression, where maybe he'll use some graphite inside a watercolor piece, or graphite inside of like a colored pencil. It's something that I feel like I myself actually really want to aspire to. Like the way that Lewis was talking about it, I feel like his work is just way more detailed in a different way. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like another interesting thing is that like Max will often dabble with different types of mediums that generally I won't use. Like I said, the pen and ink, but additionally, like sometimes he'll use like is it it's the type of like gold leaf, yeah, like gold leaf and silver leaf and copper leaf, and I haven't really used those. And I thought it was always really interesting, and I think I might explore that more. Yeah.
And then also with Lewis's watercolor, I mean, if I do use watercolor in a piece, I'm usually just like plastering on different colors and then just making them one block. But he takes watercolor, maybe puts in more water or something like that to make it more vibrant, or like dilute the colors so that he makes it like different colors or different shades of that color to make the piece pop out more. I think that's really interesting.
Nice. Well, aside from making art, you're both passionate about raising awareness for childhood cancer. How did this become a focus for the two of you?
So initially, my mom had a friend, and like we heard about the Joey's Wings Foundation from her friend, and at the time, Joey had just passed away from kidney cancer, and he was around the same age as us. We were both age 10. Like he was age 10 when he had passed away, and we were age 10 at the time, and it had really moved us because he also enjoyed doing the arts. He really enjoyed doing the arts, and I think it was something that kind of like showed us that a lot of these kids didn't necessarily have the opportunities to pursue what we were able to pursue due to like these circumstances. And when we were introduced to this foundation, we thought it was like a great opportunity to actually like give back to the community. And so we've worked with Joey's Wings for quite some time. And recently we did like before this, we designed their logo for their 5K run, and we had also raised some funds for them, like a few $1,000s for the foundation. And yeah, and this kind of also ties into like what I kind of want to do in the future, because like seeing a lot of kids who suffer from these debilitating diseases or from like cancer or these things that like prevent a lot of them from pursuing the arts, which we advocate. I think it's definitely something that I kind of want to cure. So in the future, I wanted to actually go into pre-med as like a major in college, and hopefully that'll work out so I can like help these children as well.
That's great. Well, you mentioned earlier that you also enjoy writing in addition to art. Can you talk a little bit about your project with Lynn? What is it like to work with a best-selling author and an award-winning illustrator?
Oh, I think it's really interesting. I mean, the for Grace Lynn, we first found her pieces because we were tied with the foundation, the Cancer Foundation, and so that we saw that one of her illustrations was of a girl sitting on a what is it?
And a swing.
On a swing with cranes lifting up the swing. And so the reason why that was so important to us was that, or for the foundation itself, was because the entire Joey's he really loved creating paper cranes.
Yeah.
And so we saw that the paper cranes, it was a good opportunity that we could further support and spread awareness for childhood cancer. And so we saw this opportunity. We also saw that Grace Lynn was a writer. I mean, of course, we do love writing as well. So we thought, you know what, this is a good opportunity. Maybe we should see how we can use this and then see if we can do anything with it.
Yeah, both of us like really love creative expression, and I feel like being able to work with an author, and especially one that like helps promote creativity in children as well, because I feel like children's books writers definitely contribute to that. I feel like it was a great opportunity, and also to help promote many of the things that we advocate, like the creativity, like the childhood cancer awareness. And I think just like the picture that we were trying to recreate. So essentially, like Max said, there's this painting of this girl sitting on the swing being carried up by cranes. I think it's essentially like kind of showing this type of hope that a lot of these people don't necessarily feel, you know, when suffering. And I think that being able to do this and being able to show it in different like places, such as like maybe libraries or hospitals or something, could definitely help others.
So did you create a work of art with her then?
We're hoping to do that.
Beginning the drafting
We're
process.
beginning the process
Okay.
at the moment. Yeah.
Nice. So you also go to school full time in addition to this very flourishing art career you have, and you have other hobbies and interests outside of art. How do you manage all of this?
Yeah, I get yeah. So we're both juniors. So at the moment we do have a lot of schoolwork, other
Mhm.
extracurricular activities. So at the moment we do have like less time than we used to as kids, where we could have other time that we could spend a lot of time doing art or doing the things that we love doing. But I think even then, while we have all this work, we still try to keep like, I don't know, 1 to 2 hours every day, every week, so that we have some time that we can put into doing art, doing something that we love, like writing. But like our main focus at the moment is just trying to keep the things that we love and still being able to do that even if we're more busy.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting over quarantine though, because we were actually be able to do a lot of explorative things. Like Max and I both focused a little bit more on like graphite, and we also focused a little bit more on maybe dabbling in different things. Like we did try a little bit of realism and stuff like that. But definitely now, because of school, Max and I are both taking 4 APs, both of us, and these are pretty difficult courses, to be honest. But school has definitely not prevented us from working on art, and I think every day devoting like 1 or 2 hours allows us to like help take a break from a lot of the schoolwork and also pursue other things like
Mhm.
writing. Yeah.
And I know earlier, Lewis, you mentioned exploring potentially pre-med. Max, have you thought about a path for you moving forward?
Yeah, so I felt like another thing that I really love doing, alongside like Lewis's idea of like helping other kids, I feel like something that I really liked doing with the foundation was that we were able to help other people. And I feel like some another way that I could have went through that is that maybe through business. So I could go to the business side, and then using maybe how in that way help support other in the foundation, like other kinds of like nonprofit organizations, ways so that I can make this into like an opportunity, so that I can like make this into a career and still help others. Because I feel like helping or like supporting things that I love is something that I really want to like pursue when I'm older. So I mean, Lou's going to pre-med, I'm going to the more business side of things. I feel like I can also still in that way incorporate art or like artistic things into that.
Yeah,
So yeah.
like although being a doctor will definitely take a lot of time from being able to pursue art. But I think that just being able to show creative expression, regardless of whether or not it's your job, I think it's just good. I want to like continue to promote it in the future through maybe things like this competition that we're planning, or like the Grace Lynn thing that we're doing, or the Billboard project. I feel like all of those, being able to promote this art in the community, is not only beneficial to the community, but just beneficial to everyone involved. Yeah.
Where can folks see your art for themselves?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook and we have an Instagram. I think we also have a website. So Boyang Twins,
Yeah,
was it Boyang?
boyangtwins.com is
Yeah.
where you can see most of our art. Some of the stuff we're currently working on, I don't know if it's necessarily on the website yet, but that's generally where you can find most of our stuff.
And then follow along on Facebook for
Yeah,
updates and things like that. That's great.
yeah.
Well, Max and Lewis, thank you so much for talking with me today. This was really interesting to learn about your work and your careers that are longer than some people twice your age already. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. This podcast has been a production of the Arts Council of Greater Lansing. To learn more about them, go to lansingarts.org.